welcome to Beyond Science 2. I'm your host, Jasmina. The American flag is one of history's most indelible icons. The Star-Spangled Banner has, since its inception, become a symbol of freedom and democracy that every single American is extremely proud of. With its 7 stripes and 50 stars in the iconic trifecta of colors associated with freedom, red, white, and blue, almost anyone in any corner of the globe will be able to recognize in whatever medium or form possible. However, the flag did not become our today's icon overnight. Before the final design was approved, the look of the flag had to go through numerous looks and iterations that, if you would try to imagine any of them today, would not really make much of an impact and inspiration. That is should or not at all. What's even more interesting is that the design that we all recognize today did not become official until 1960. Even more so, one of the most important chapters in the history of the flag came about in the Eisenhower era, when Alaska and the island of Hawaii were going to be incorporated into the flag. The Americans were extremely interested in the new flag and eager to participate in history that President Eisenhower's office received thousands of unsolicited designs from citizens. You could say that this could also very well be the first time in history that crowdsourcing came to light. So today we are going to revisit 12 of these flag designs that did not necessarily fly well with our forefathers. Number 12, the eagle and the star. The only requirement for the flag's design was that the stars must be set in a white over a blue field. How the other elements are laid out are completely up to the designer. There is even no requirement on how the stars should be arranged. This one, from an anonymous designer, took a cue from military flags and laid out the stars in a way that would form one large star with the American bald eagle at the very center. The stripes are laid out the same way as the flag we use today. Number 11, star-studded. This design lacked the blue field that was required of the flag. Instead, there are red stripes over a field of white studded with stars, and at the very center is a much larger star with another one at its heart, representing the largest and smallest states in the Union. Aside from the 50 stars on the field were 4 additional ones that are said to represent Franklin D. Roosevelt's 4 freedoms. And at the very bottom of the flag was a running text of poetry that reads, "From the state that is large to the one that is small, all 50 offer peace and goodwill to one and to all." Number 10, the doppelganger. Another one from an unknown designer featured the map of the mainland United States in blue filled with white stars representing all 50 states. Since there is no restriction that the blue field needs to be a square or a rectangle, this surely should have passed, right? Fortunately for us, it didn't, because the rest of the layout includes intersecting red lines behind the US map that eerily represents those of the United Kingdom's Union flag. Number 9, the quick fix. Designing a flag can be problematic and can take a lot of time until the right layout is made. It takes careful and meticulous decisions in order to avoid alienating groups of individuals or cause any kind of offense to anyone at all. In the case of this design, the designer may have drawn it up a little too hastily that it looks more like a gag than something you would take seriously. The layout is pretty standard, with the blue field in the upper left-hand corner and the stripes in their proper places. However, the flag seems to be missing some stars because there are only 13 of them. And to make matters even more bizarre, a large number 50 is in the center of the blue field, encircled by the said stars. Next, we have the torch. Seeing kids being patriotic is something that any parent can be proud of and should continue to encourage. In the case of a 17-year-old student from New Jersey, she took her patriotism and designed a flag for President Eisenhower's consideration. The design was the standard layout of the flag, except that instead of laying out the stars in a row, they have been arranged in a circle surrounding a hand carrying a white torch with red flame that we can only assume is a representation of the Statue of Liberty. And number 7, we have minor improvements. A woman by the name of Estelle Arthur Owens submitted a design proposal for the flag that makes some minor adjustments to the existing one. Using the same elements of the American flag, Owens instead rearranged the stars to form the number 1776, the year when the Declaration of Independence was signed, as well as the same year Betsy Ross supposedly sewed Old Glory at the request of George Washington, who was a Continental Army general back then. At number 6, we have the geographer's dream. At this point, we can assume that the standard layout of the flag is pretty much perfect and makes quite an impression. This flag design sticks to the layout. However, instead of placing the stars where they should be, the designer opted to place the map of the mainland US in the blue field that has plotted out 48 stars on the geographic location of the state. Each one represents with the stars for Hawaii and Alaska sitting next to each other on top of the map. Number 5, a complete overhaul. A submission from a woman named Gertrude Brofman took the idea of the flag and completely turned it into something, well, new. Designed by Brofman's brother, the submission features a stylized geometric pattern that reads USA in the middle of a large white star. The pattern was designed in such a way that however way you flip the flag, it would still read USA. At number 4, we have No Time Wasted. This design looks pretty simple. In fact, the only change that was applied to it was that the designer decided to extend the blue field so that it covers the entire height of the flag. The colors and layout remain the same, except that the stars, since the blue field has been stretched downwards, now seem to be arranged in columns instead of rows. It could have been a winner if not for the fact that it appeared too cluttered and messy despite the designer's best intentions. Next is number 3, What's a Motto with You? Here's another design that decided to keep it straightforward and preserve the look of the flag. The design is pretty straightforward, preserving the original layout of the flag. However, the stars have been rearranged so that there are 8 in 5 rows, with the remaining 2 stars flanking the US motto, "In God We Trust," as the final row. Number 2, Round and Round the Stars. Another proposal sent to President Eisenhower's office is also pretty straightforward and still keeps most of the original layout of the flag. However, the unnamed designer made the creative decision to lay out the 50 white stars in concentric circles, a design choice that somehow confuses the eyes more than keeping it locked into the entire image of the flag. And finally, we have the United States of Nations. This is an interesting design that keeps the original elements and layout of the American flag. The stripes are in their proper positions, the blue field is just the right size. However, instead of placing the stars that represent all 50 states in the Union, the designer made a bold choice of placing what seems to be the logo of the United Nations in the blue field. While the United States is indeed one of the most important and influential member countries of the organization, having to incorporate the standard of the United Nations into the American flag may be pushing it a little too far. So there you go, guys. I never thought about the process of making the flag, but now that I think about it, it seemed like it was a huge task that everybody felt important to complete. I can't really imagine the United States having a different flag, and I've grown up with it my whole life. What are your thoughts? Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!